Hello, today I just wanted to show you how to read whole notes and to be able to create those holes using Onshape. So here I have a simple block that I made, and I'll kind of just show you what I did here. Sketch for the block first. So I made a 3x5 block, and I extruded it back 2 inches, and then I added a couple points. And my goal is I'm going to turn all three of these points to holes. Um, and I spaced them out and everything so that way they're nice and even. So let me go back to the isometric here. So I'm going to switch over to this document. These are three separate whole notes here. 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, the third one's very blurry, but unfortunately when I stretched it out, it blurred out. So I'm going to walk you through what these notes mean and putting them into Onshape. And I'll start with the top one here. So some of the symbols here that you may not recognize. First of all, this circle with the line through it means diameter. This arrowhead with the line on the top means depth. So how far down you need to go with this diameter. And then this symbol here means counter bore. So a counter bore hole basically means you drill a larger hole above the hole that you're going to put the fastener in or whatever you're going to put into it. Oftentimes the purpose of that is so that if you're dealing with like a bolt, the head of the bolt can be sunk underneath the material. Yeah. So I'm going to walk you through how to draw it, and it'll give you kind of a preview. So if you can't imagine in your head what a counter bore looks like, you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to hop back and forth here, and I'll start with, I'll make hole. And there's all sorts of options that pop up. This actually already has counter bore selected, but you can change the different options and we'll walk you through there. So I'm going to choose counter bore. The next option is through. It wants to drill the hole through. And actually, while I'm talking, I can kind of select, you want to select what point you want to put the hole in. Through, we'll put it through the entire block. So you can kind of see how there's a larger hole and then a smaller one, and the smaller one's going through the whole thing. We don't want that because, as you can see, there's a depth on both measurements. So the depth of the smaller one, which is the smaller hole, is 2 inches, and it's 0.375 in diameter. So I'm going to hop back. Let's see what we can change here. The drill size, so that would be for the smaller drill, would be 0.375. All right, and the depth for that is, oh, I forgot to change it from through. Sorry, I just talked about that. You want to change it to blind. Blind will give it a depth measurement, which is now down here. And that was 2 inches. So I'll change that to 2. And you'll kind of see if I rotate around here, you can see it changing. And I'll try to keep that at an angle so you can see what's happening. And now I can change the top part. So this bigger hole here, which is the bottom part of the measurement here. So it says it's a counter bore, it's 0.75 in diameter, and it goes down 0.5. So right here, and you can see by the pictures, 0.75 looks like that's already set. And then the depth of the upper part, and again, you can look at the picture, is, sorry, I gotta go back here, 0.5. So I can change that. And you'll see this kind of adjust here. So now we should be all set. So I can hit the check mark, and now we have a counter bore hole. Okay, so we'll move on to the other two. Now, in order to use that same sketch to move on, what you're going to want to do is go to the sketch that you made and click the little eyeball here, so that way you can make the sketch visible again. And then we'll click hole again. And we'll select this center dot now. Now, it kept all our settings from before for the counter bore, but we're going to switch to a countersink. Now, the reason I know this node is a countersink is because of this angle. Okay, what a countersink is it's basically kind of drilled out to match the head of a screw. So that way the head of a screw can be flush with the top surface of the material. And it's a very simple thing to do, but it basically just makes it so screw heads aren't sticking out. Okay, so first thing I'm going to change up here is from counter bore to countersink. it kept our drilled, it kept it blind, which I believe, yes, this doesn't go through. So now we're going to look at the note. So the main hole is 0.25 in diameter and has a depth of 2.25. So we're going to change our drill size to 0.25. And then we'll change our depth to 2.25. Okay, and then we'll start worrying about the seat. That's what this angled surface is called. The seat can also be referred to with the upper part of the counterbore as well. So that's a term you know is the seat. So now we know that our angled surface, the upper part, the seat, is 1 inch in diameter at 82 degrees. 82 degrees is a typical measurement. Usually that doesn't change too often, but sometimes it does, so just be aware it's right here. And the 1 inch is already set, so we already have our hole. So I just hit the check mark again. Now on the second time that you make it, your sketch won't disappear. You'll have to manually make it disappear once we're done. So we'll move on to the final one. And let's choose hole. And then our final note is very simple. Again, sorry it's blurry. This has a diameter of 0.5 and it's through. So it's simply just a simple hole or a simple drilled hole. So I'm going to choose simple. And it has the note through. Okay, so that means that there is no bottom to the hole. It goes through the whole object. So I'm going to change from blind to through. And then I just have to change the diameter. Oh, helps if I select it. Change the diameter. The drill size is going to be 0.5. So let's scroll down here. And again, I'm getting the measurements from the parentheses here. And really simple. See, it goes through the whole object. And I'll hit the check mark here, and there we are. And like I said, with the sketch, you just got to hop back over and hit the eyeball again, and that'll make those points disappear. You see from the bottom, you can only see one hole. At the top, you can see all three. So I'll give you a quick preview here, and I'll start a drawing sheet just to kind of show you a side view of these holes. I'm going to bring in my part, and what I'm going to do what's called a section view. So I'm going to actually start by bringing in my top piece. And let's see, I think we might have enough room to do 1 to 1. Well, that might be too big. We'll hop back to 1 to 2. So a section view will basically cut the object in half and give you an idea of what the inside looks like. So I'm just going to place my top view. And then I'm going to go up here to section. And I want to cut, basically the line that I'm putting in is where my saw blade would cut. So if you were to physically cut this, it's where you would cut the object in half. So right now it's set for vertical, so it would cut the object in half up and down like this. But I want to cut across like this so you can see what the holes look like on the inside. So I'm going to click horizontal, and I'm just going to find the center here and just click. And then now it'll become a view just like your top, front, and right side. And this will actually replace our front view. So now what this shows you, as I zoom in here, is section lines, which these represent, if you were to actually physically cut this, this is where material would be. So where the saw blade would actually touch material if you were to cut it in half. And then where there's no section lines is where there's open space. So this gives you a preview of the 3 different types of holes. This is a counterbore. Okay, as you can see, it has that flat seat for a bolt head to be able to fit in. And then this is a countersink, which is meant to have the screw basically rest. If you've ever seen the top of a screw, the bottom of the top of it is angled, and this is set to match it, so that way the screw head is flush with the top of the material. And then this is just a simply drilled hole. So any kind of hole that can be drilled, that's basically what it would look like from the side. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I hope I was able to teach you a lot about hole notes. Thank you and have a wonderful day.